Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We are two retired New York City police detectives. And if you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, I knew I was going to mess that up one day, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon. And this guy, I poke him every time we go live, Ed Wallace. When we go live or upload another video. Today, we got a great show. We're going to be talking about Gonzalo Lopez. This is a case that we had multiple live streams about. We had the family, Melanie and Robert Tieperman, and their great son, Braxton, who videotaped Gonzalo Lopez escaping from that prison bus in Leon County, Texas. And that happened in May. He was captured and killed 22 days later, but it came at a price. Before we get into it, I want to just say a special thank you all to the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all of the folks who positively engage in this community. You are what makes it a great place. And me and Ed, we give thanks and praise to you guys. Don't we, Ed?
Amen.
Yeah. How you doing today, brother?
Doing good, doing good.
Hey, we got a really exciting guest. We have Jill from Floozie Crime. We're going to introduce her in a minute. I'm so excited to have her on. I touched briefly with you yesterday when we were going over Kylie Rodney, and we're talking about the car. We seem to stir up quite a bit of controversy with that. We're not really good at doing controversy, but we were just simply stating the fact. You know, we're not going to get into it here because I want this show to be about Gonzalo Lopez. Ed, in May, we had this horrific escape. It lasted 22 days. We had a civilian witness, her son, little Braxton, who was a brave, courageous young kid. And his mom, pistol packing Melanie Tieperman. She was in her pickup truck. She saw something funky, and as some of our friends say, fugazi. And she said, "Brax, start recording." And the kid jumped right into it. In the chat, anybody here remember this case? If you don't remember this case, we're going to link down below and maybe in one of the cards up here, a playlist to Gonzalo Lopez. Ed, this blew our mind when we spoke about this. It was just unbelievable that we have the same set of circumstances when you talk about personnel. They said in Leon County and in the surrounding areas that they had 300 to 400 personnel searching for this guy. Mm-hmm. Horseback, ATV, Melanie
drones,
sent us the
helicopters.
Video. Yeah, Melanie sent us the helicopter over her house.
Right.
Drones, as you said. All kinds of things and thousands of man hours. And what did they have? They had the guy 4,000, I think they said 4,000 feet or yards away from the command post, holed up in the Collins family weekend home. Mm-hmm. And what did he wind up doing? Killing 5 people.
5 members of that family lost their lives because of their inability to find this person.
It's a goddamn shame.
And I'm being kind.
Yeah. Let's play this little clip so everybody can get a grasp of what we're talking about. This is the overview of what happened. Let's let it play.
No sound.
No sound?
No sound.
All right, hold on a second. Here's more issues that I got going on. Let me remove it completely. I got something else. I got another trick up my sleeve. Josh taught me this. All right, let's do this. Share audio. Share screen. Hold on, I gotta unmute it.
And heartbroken friends gather.
Yep, audio.
Teachers mount at their school.
See, DutyRon and Ed Wallace, we don't give up.
Never give up.
We'll play it from the beginning.
The crime is unspeakable. A grandfather and his 4 grandsons slain shortly after they arrived at their vacation cabin for what they thought would be a wonderful weekend of family fun. The killer, a convict who was on the run after escaping from a prison bus. Now, hard questions are being asked. Was enough warning given, alerting people that the convict could be in the area?
Bye, thanks.
It's an unimaginable tragedy, the murder of 4 youngsters and their grandfather. The Collins brothers, 16-year-old Carson, 11-year-old Hudson, and 18-year-old Waylon loved baseball, and heartbroken friends gathered around the pitcher's mound at their school in Tomball, Texas, to grapple with the devastating loss. The brothers were celebrating the start of summer with their cousin Bryson and grandfather Mark at their family vacation cabin, where there were ponds for fishing and woods for hunting. Cops say all 5 family members were murdered by a convicted killer who had escaped from a prison bus.
Just such a tragic story, a terrible thing.
This cell phone video captures the moment when the inmate crashed the bus and fled into the woods weeks ago.
There we go.
I spoke to Melanie Tieperman, whose 11-year-old son filmed the dramatic escape.
I did not realize the danger that this man actually posed to all of us.
Gonzalo Lopez was serving a life sentence for killing a man with a pickaxe. He was on a prison bus like this one, being driven to a medical appointment when he broke free from his restraints, stabbed the driver, and took off on foot.
He's in the woods.
The video shows cops on the scene as Lopez fled into the woods. He was on the lam for 3 weeks before he ended up at the Collins family ranch. It's unclear if he was already inside when the grandfather and his 4 grandsons got there, or if he broke in while they were there. A burglary right next door may have been a warning sign that Lopez was still hiding out in the area. The grandfather's friend spoke to reporters.
I do feel that had Mark been made aware that he was within a day or two of being on his property, he would have never exposed those kids to that danger.
What could have saved the lives of this family?
I really believe if they had not misled us to believe that he could be somewhere else and to be more vigilant and prepared, now the what if has happened and this family has lost their lives.
After he murdered the boys and their grandfather, Lopez stole their pickup truck. He was killed in a shootout with police 250 miles away.
Evil did visit our doorsteps.
Authorities in Texas say they suspected the escaped prisoner might have been using unoccupied houses in the area for food and shelter, which is why they had patrols and numerous law enforcement personnel involved in the manhunt.
So there you go. I wanted to play that because that gives us the best overview of this horrific crime, and the very people who are taxed with keeping the public safe. Bless you again.
Thank you.
Keeping people safe failed on many different levels. With that break-in the day prior, with telling the residents that they were safe. I mean, Ed, they had the DNA of this guy in another home. And
in a nearby cabin, used to shower.
And he used that hunting suit and was out there. And Melanie said they had, the ghillie suit, they had a family party for their daughter. The daughter turned 18 and she had a bunch of kids in her backyard in the pool. So
yeah, I remember all the press conferences from that public information officer at the Dairy Queen. He seemed to be a bit belligerent. And so forth. But then he said that, just before this, we're moving our search to a different location. And that's when this stuff hit.
Yeah, that was Robert Hurst, the TDCJ. He was high up on a totem pole, and I believe he's been removed from that position. We had the Senator Whitmire. He wrote a big, long letter. I have that letter here saved. But I'm going to encourage people to go over to Senator Whitmire. He's a Democrat in the state of Texas, and he jumped up and down to the Lieutenant Governor, Daniel Patrick, and said, we are demanding accountability for the failures of what happened in Leon County and to the Collins family. And there was so much evidence that this guy was still in that area. And they had remember, Ed, they told us they had the tape on the homes that it said it was searched. But what good does that tape do? It's just almost like an order of protection. You got an order of protection in your pocket. That's not going to save you from someone killing you. The homes were taped and said that they were searched, but the guy could have broken into it through a back window and you go to the front door. I'm just flabbergasted by this, And Ed, I know you expressed deep sadness, not only just, for obviously what happened to the Collins family, but all of the residents of Leon County and surrounding areas in the state of Texas, for that matter. How are they going to have confidence in their department, their sheriff's department, the corrections department, the local law enforcement? They let them all down. You saw that cop, that Jewett cop, tell Melanie, "Oh yeah, I know."
Yeah, as he just stood there with no gun and didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But to get back to this, we've heard nothing. We've heard nothing of how this actual escape occurred. We've heard nothing of any discipline to anybody in the corrections that were involved in the incident. We've heard nothing about how they missed this and what are they going to do in the future to ensure that this doesn't happen again. And it's, you hear those words over and over again. We're going to pass legislation, or we're going to do this and we're going to do that so that this never happens again.
Right.
Unfortunately, in our society, things like this are going to happen from time to time. And so what we need to do as civilians is understand that we are our first line of defense against any of this. And if you can afford it, put up some wireless video cameras, security cameras around your house, or inside your house. They're relatively inexpensive now. I have several. I have 8 actually at my Jersey house, and they'll notify me when somebody drives by or walks by or approaches my front door. It's not a bell. It's not a ring system, but it's a wireless system. All it requires is some rechargeable batteries and an internet connection. And it's very easy to use. And you put the app on your phone, and so wherever you are in the world, you can turn on your cameras and look around, and it'll notify you when you have movement, around your property. This way, you could see what's going on, and then you could say, "Oh God, well, who's this guy coming into my property?" I can call the police. Right. So, I mean, it's tragic. I'm heartbroken. And I'm also upset that law enforcement dropped the ball on this case. And but I'm more upset now. It's like being swept under the rug. We haven't heard anything,
Yeah. And
what's going on.
That segues me right into what I have up on the screen. And I'm going to do my best to make this just a tad bit bigger for you guys. Because I know a lot of people are like looking up and at their screen, and they're like, what is this? I'm gonna. There you go. All right. So this is the letter that the senator sent to this is to Governor Dan. I think it's Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. So he sent this to him. He said, I attended the funerals for the Collins family. The boys were 18, 16, 11. This crime was preventable and should never happen. There are several basic questions that I want the Texas Rangers, those little guys, Ed, that's one of your guys that sent some of the patches and so forth to, I'm just saying that's that department. So the Texas Rangers are tasked with investigating this debacle. And this is what the questions, several basic questions. How did the prisoner who was handcuffed and locked in a secure cage inside a prison bus remove his handcuffs and shackles and escape and get into that cage and attack the TDCJ driver? How did the second guard in the back of the bus not see what was happening? Was the prisoner fully searched as protocol required before getting on that bus? We know that through video that we saw since this, he did get searched inside the facility. But those 2 correction officers who were handling those prisoners, they're supposed to search too. As you know, Ed, you and I both know, the person is not searched until I do it, if I'm handling the person. How was the escapee able to elude hundreds of law enforcement, bloodhounds, air patrols, and for several weeks, just like we just said? Was the community put on high alert after the cabin near the Collins cabin was broken into a few days prior to this murder? And that's a big no. We know that for a fact from Melanie and Robert Tieperman, Dr. Tieperman. As to the cabin that was broken into days before the murder, fingerprints and DNA samples were taken, but the results were not expected back for 48 hours. By that time, the results came back with a positive match to Gonzalo Lopez. It was too late for the Collins family. Horrific, man. I got to bring in our special guest. Now, for those of you who are listening in the chat, this is a special treat. This is a woman who I love and adore, and I know Ed feels the same way. And we love and adore the community that she represents. Fiber Floozy's Crafts, I have her little sticker right here on every one of my live streams. Some people might not be able to see that, but I have it. It's on my DutyRon sign. Let me take it off, show you guys up close, because it's not fair that I'm saying it. But there it is. Fiber Floozy's Crafts. Jill's been a great part of this community. She's a channel member. She's a content creator herself. She does true crime. Now it's Fiber Floozy's Crime. I'm going to add her to the screen because she and her community did some special things for Ed and I. Jill, thank you so much for joining. You're still muted. You got to unmute. We appreciate that you took out the time on a Tuesday to come and hang out with us. How are you, Jill?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. I'm down here with my daughter and the grandsons, and they're nonstop, man. They are nonstop. So they're here right now. It's really kind of quiet. I'm enjoying it for a little while.
Well,
thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, so excited to see what you think of the blankets we sent you.
Well, it's not only blankets. Let me set this up, folks. So I'll show some of this stuff, and then I want to get into, Ed and I want to get into, so this was, I'm going to go full screen, if you don't mind, so this way everybody can see it, but they'll still be able to hear you. So this is an LSU beanie. I put this on and sent a picture to Ed, and he told me it's just like, licking something, or, trying a sip of a soda pop. You can't use that same straw again. I put this on my head. This is a great little beanie that you guys made for Ed Wallace. And here is a wind chime. And this came from Amy with instructions. We're going to be hanging that up. But my wife agreed that she doesn't want to put it out in the winter and have it get bad. So we're going to wait, until the spring comes to put it out. Made by Amy Long, complete with instructions. And this thing is awesome, red, white, and blue. And there's two blankets. One that says DutyRon, and they're behind me here. And one that says Ed, right? Does it say Ed Wallace or Ed on it?
Just Ed, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys spent so much time rallying up the troops and getting the people. I have a long list of young ladies who I got to, did any guys do this?
Yes, Miguel.
Okay, so we have to be all inclusive here. So I wasn't sure, but can you tell the audience what was the inspiration behind this and how this all happened, how long it took? Jill, you got the floor.
I was on your show, or you came on with me on my channel, and we were talking about the blankets. You're like, oh, I'd like to have a blanket. And then afterwards, Lori Armstrong said, you could have everybody just send you squares. It would be faster. I'm like, oh, I love that idea. So my idea was I really wanted to get them to you guys by September 11th for 9. That was really hard to get all done, but I actually had them done by the end of July.
So awesome. Yeah.
I mean, I once I had a system going everyone sent me the squares, and then I put them all together for you guys.
Yeah.
So
that's just awesome. I want to thank everybody that participated, that signed this card here or have their names on this card. And from all over the country, folks, they're from around the country.
We had Florida. I tried to put everybody's state there for you. So you
I'm going to read them all. I'm going to read it all, but I want to circle back to Gonzalo Lopez. Okay, so here we are. You are a resident of Texas. I'm not going to go into the specific part of Texas where you reside, but you're a Texan, right? How does it, this story, you had to be living under a rock if you didn't hear about it. And if you're subscribed to my channel, I know you know of it, you've heard of it. You might not have the particulars on it and so forth, but with all the failures, and we look at Uvalde and these poor children and the families who were just are continuing to suffer the rest of their lives at the losses and the inaction, the lack of action that was taken. How does it feel, as a resident of the state of Texas, to see this kind of stuff, Joe?
Well, it's tough because you see a lot happening all at once. There was a lot going on all at once, and it was like, what's going on? Going on? And a lot of it, I think, has to do with what's going on across the country, and that is a lack of staff. So I think that's part of it. But the ball was dropped in so many places, so many places. And the communication, that was hard. I, like a lot of other people, was listening to that, and I had some information actually that I could not say at the time, and that was that when they were talking about all the people with Lopez, all of the 400 or whatever, they actually didn't have that many the whole time.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the numbers were skewed.
They actually sent a whole bunch of those people who were like they had their first initial group of people that they sent out. The next ones that started to come in, they actually let them go fairly quickly, like towards the end of that week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sad. And and Ed, remember we heard that from the Tieperman family, because they were, they reside in Jewett, which is in Leon County, and she said, Melanie said to me, and I still communicate with her and Robert, Dr. Tieperman.
Mm-hmm.
She said, Ron, they were blowing smoke up everyone's rear. There was not that many people, and she said at night they would drive past the TDCJ staff and they'd be sleeping in their cars.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering about this when we were watching some of the coverage, because you could see the cars that were going past the TDCJ guy when he was doing his broadcasting, and
Robert Hurst.
I'm like, is anybody checking those vehicles? We didn't really know where we were. Nobody really knew what was going on.
Yeah, and who was doing what.
Yeah.
And, I know in Texas that with all the immigration issues at the border, that the National Guard is stretched thin. The Texas Department of Public Safety is stretched thin because they have to pick up the slack for the lack of federal resources down there to deal with that. But normally in a case like this, if you don't have the manpower from the prison facility, then you ask the governor for help from the National Guard, to get some people out there to act as force multipliers to increase your ability to search areas and clear them and move on. But none of that seems to have happened.
Yeah, I don't think they asked him.
Mm-hmm.
What I think
would have done it. He would have a heartbeat.
Yeah, what I really feel like made things even worse and compounded this whole thing is that the TDCJ director, Robert Hurst, he was making statements like, my guards shot out the tires and shot at Gonzalo Lopez as he went past in that field. And we know for a fact that they did not shoot at Gonzalo Lopez, because our friend, the Melanie Tieperman and Braxton, her son, she saw the bus with her own eyes veer off the road, and she saw with her own eyes Gonzalo Lopez get up on that chicken wire fence and run off into the pasture. Now, if it went down the way they said it went down, you should have heard gunshots.
Right.
Well, they shot at the tires on the bus after the bus was going, right?
That's the allegation. Yes, that's what they said. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But he additionally stated that they shot at Gonzalo Lopez as he went off in the pasture.
Yeah, they said they ran down the road after the bus, the two corrections officers, and fired at him while he was in the field. But meanwhile, that police officer was there. He was unarmed. No, you don't hear any shots being fired on Braxton's videotape. And then, Braxton's mom is driving by and saying, hey, he's in the field. He's in the field. And nowhere in there did you see the two correction officers that were armed.
Amazing.
I had the wrong group handling the search. That's what they had the wrong organization handling the search.
Well, the thing of it is, and Ed and I know this, it's TDCJ's prisoner. So they were in charge of getting their prisoner. He kept saying words to the effect of, we're not going to stop until we get Gonzalo Lopez back into custody. That was his famous line. We are not going to stop searching until we, the TDCJ, get Gonzalo Lopez, because it's their prisoner. They're responsible. It would be like the NYPD. We lose a prisoner. Not only do we lose 30 days, we get scrutinized. We get, we lose 30 days vacation and get put on desk duty. we're responsible to get that guy back. We don't rely on Nassau County or Suffolk County. We rely on mutual aid, right? The marshals
That's right.
came in, Jill and Ed.
That surprised me because I'm like, okay, now we're going to get somewhere, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Let's look at the chat and say hello to everybody. Princess Michelle is here. Alicia B is in the chat. Everyone's saying hello. Dawn Marie, legal-minded friends. Karen, she's an attorney in the UK. Karen Solak. Everyone is saying hi. If the mods can put up Fiber Floozie's channel, I want everyone to, after this live stream is over, go on over to Fiber Floozie's True Crime and Crafts. She does both. She mixes them in. It's adorable. I sit and watch when I can on Friday nights sometimes, and she's got the camera and she's kind of crocheting away and doing her thing and talking about the killers, and I love it. So what a fantastic idea to do that.
oh, thank you.
You know, with your community and the ladies. What a great thing, Jill.
A whole lot of people who were just like me that like to watch the true crime stuff. We watch, you know, all the forensics. Forensics is my favorite part of it, actually.
Yeah.
But, you know, we watch all the shows, the 48 hours, all that set. And I thought, well, I could just sit here. I could work while I'm talking about it. So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I see 328, the number in the chat on my end on one of my devices here. And that's a message from my dad because that was his number. That's 328. So, hey, Dad, thanks for chiming in and stopping in and saying hello. Joe Murray's in the chat, our famous, friendly criminal defense attorney. Aunt BB too. Everybody is here checking in. Integrity is here as well. Sherilyn Schaffner. Trucker Steve, he is here.
okay.
There he is.
I haven't seen him in a while. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, he now became part of Jill's community. He doesn't like us anymore, Ed. So but he
no, you know why?
ladies.
You know why we don't see him?
How to crochet?
You know why we don't see him?
Why?
Because he's on the road again.
On the road. I just can't wait to get back on that road again.
He's trucking around the country, delivering our goods and products.
Well, listen, Jill. Again, we love everything that you do over there on Fiber Floozie's Crime, and I still have the crafts. This is a part of my getup here, you know. The blankets, I'm going to get them at the end of this because we got just a couple more minutes here. You know, I wanted to circle back quickly to this thing, to this Gonzalo Lopez thing, because it's really bothering me that, you know, Brian Enton from News Nation interviewed Senator Whitmire, and he promised on, and I'm not going to play it because I don't want to take away from time for us here talking together, but I have it saved. I looked at it before we went live, and Senator Whitmire said, we're going to get down to this. And what I see is a common thread, and I'm going to go full screen with me because I'm pissed. A common thread with politicians is when something's happening, they're barking and screaming. When we have school shootings, we have mass shootings at malls, we have, you know, prisoners escape and kill family of 5. You have them jumping up and down and saying, we demand answers. We want answers. But when the dust settles and time goes by, we got a big fat donut. We got ingots from them. And I text Melanie and Dr. Tiedemann just over the weekend. They were having a great time, having a party. They sent me pictures and videos of what they were doing. And here I am on a Saturday night, like a loser, asking them about Gonzalo Lopez, and they're partying away and having a good time. But they said nothing. Nothing's going on. Zero, zilch, nothing. No changes. As a matter of fact, another prisoner escaped from the TDCJ in that area, and they got him back within a day. Wow. So since this has happened, another prisoner got away and escaped.
They need to have public hearings, you know, at the legislature and broadcast it. Somebody, you know, they need to get to the bottom. There has to be an investigation.
Yeah.
And the public has to be made aware of it. And they, you know, it's your taxpaying dollars that are paying for these services. Okay, and you expect to have some level of security and protection from law enforcement, and there needs to be answers to the who, what, where, why, and how of this. And it's just not out there, and I don't understand it. 5 people lost their lives. 5 people, all right? And then the prison guard and the bus driver, you know, injured. We need to know how this happened, who facilitated it, and corrections and needs to make changes. And practices need to be updated, protocols need to be changed, and this, to try to, limit this as much as possible.
Right. I think that the public at least needs to know that they figured out what happened and that
Right. Yeah, they need the public doesn't have any confidence in them right now.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a real terrible problem because when we in the wake of everything that's happened in the summer of 2020 and George Floyd and all these bad things that happen, we don't condone when someone from the police department does something bad. Ed and I and most good law enforcers will call it out, and we do that. We do that. But in the wake of all of that happening and the cancel police culture and defunding the police and all that stuff, you add this on top of it, it is just devastating. And I say it all the time: support your local law enforcers, because they're the difference between having a community where you can feel safe and the difference between anarchy. Now, so.
In the chat, Mac Randall Jr. says, unfortunately, nothing is going to change. It won't change unless we, the people, demand it change. And you hold your politicians accountable. You hold these bureaucrats, non-elected bureaucrats, and then people like the sheriffs or, the head of the corrections. They need to be held accountable to the people. And so you have to rise up and get your voices loud, and of course the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
That's true.
There you go, Ed. Melissa Golden says, I just subscribed to Jill's channel. Yay. Awesome. Hey, listen, everybody in the chat, since this is we're mixing true crime with a good feel good thing that Jill and her community did. I want to gift 10 memberships away. I'm going to do that right now. If you are not yet subscribe to Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, hit the little red subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up, and as soon as I see the thumbs up get up over to 200, we will give out 10 free channel memberships, courtesy of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that. Let's look at this. You wrote out a list, Jill, and
this is the people who sent in squares.
Yeah. So just explain that, Jill, to everybody. I'm going to put you full screen, and then I'm going to show me.
So everyone who sent in squares, I have a picture video put together, but I don't have it finished, edited yet. But I have pictures of all the squares. But of course, you have the blankets. So, and then I kept track of everybody that sent it in, and if they had a channel, then I marked that there were channels there, so you should be able to tell by their name.
Okay, cool.
Now each one of these squares were crocheted.
Some were crocheted and some were knitted,
and then you pieced it all together.
Yes,
that's amazing.
I knit the center, the DutyRon and the Ed. I knit that myself.
Okay.
I gotta get that and show it. But let me just put this card up so we can give credit to everybody. And Jill, everyone's gonna be able to hear you, but I'm just going solo so everybody can see it. So this is the listing of ladies and gentlemen, and it's backwards for me, so it's going to be hard for me to.
I'll do it.
To read it.
I'll read it. Okay. So we have from Pennsylvania, we have Joan. We have another Joan from Florida. We have Joyce from California. We have Karen B from Florida. Kim Anderson from the state of Mass. Kimberly Myers from Bakersfield. Okay, we have Knitting Artisan from Tennessee. We have Kristen from Maine. We have Linda O from North Carolina. Lori Armstrong from Indiana. We have Miguel from Texas. We have Jill. We have Jill from Texas. We have Pat Dancer from Texas. We have, looks like Rebecca from Rhode Island. We have Sandy from North Carolina. Another Sandy with a Y from Louisiana. We have Sharon Creates from Rhode Island. We have Shirley Spring from Spokane. We have Verna Bradshaw from California. We have Wendy.
Can I stop you for a second, Ed? Verna Bradshaw, I believe, took the video of Kylie Rodney as she went down not her, but she did it herself. She took her car and went out, and she was on Bill Cannon's show. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, if I'm wrong about Verna. But I think that's Verna from California.
All right,
so
move your left hand.
okay, I got
there
it.
you go.
Okay,
Okay, so
thanks,
we
Ed.
have Wendy from Virginia. We have Amy from
Amy longs to crochet. Yep.
And then we have Bonnie from Chicago, Brenda from New Jersey. We have Shell from Texas. We have Chelsea from New Orleans. We have Christina from Washington. We have Christy from Yarn Barf. Yes, another chat. Cynthia King from Indiana. And we have Diamond Girl from PA. Donna from Florida. Lulu and Treasure Travel from, was that Arizona?
Arkansas.
I'm sorry. We have Evelyn from Arkansas. Okay. And then we have Free Handly Made Montana. We have Frozen Stone, Georgia. We have God Rocks 2107, Arizona. We have Jan Keeling, California. Jan Villett, Wisconsin. And Julie M, Wisconsin.
Yep. And Jean Villett, thank you, and thank you to all the ladies on this card. And if there was any missed, we love you. We thank you. Jill, you have anything to add to that?
It was an amazing experience to do that. When they started coming in, and the post office is like, "What are you doing?" I showed the post office the pictures of the blankets, and they were like, "Oh my gosh!" You know, kept getting all these packages.
I get that same reaction from the post office, but it's a little more suspicious than you.
Yeah. Ed's is a little more suspicious.
What are you doing?
Yeah. All right. So I have Ed. Ed, I'm holding your blanket on me. I'm going to go full screen with this. People are going to get great screenshots of this.
Is that one? That one's.
Yes. Yeah, it's upside down.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Ed. Thanks. I'll turn it all the way around.
That's a big blanket.
I knew this was going to happen.
Yes.
All right. Well, yeah. There it is. Look at all the squares. Look at that one.
Yeah. Look at the skull. Oh, skull.
I love it. I love it. No disrespect. I'm just going to lay it right on the floor here. My floor is clean. And there's DutyRon. Okay, got it. This one is really cool too. This is my blanket, Ed, and I could put this over my head if I want, Ed.
Yeah. Rotate it 90 degrees, and then we see your DutyRon.
Why can't I find it?
It's right in the center.
Thanks, Ed. You know, I can always count on Ed.
You're very touchy today, Ron.
I am.
Okay.
I tried to do Ed's blanket more red.
With a badge.
More blood, right?
Yes, exactly.
DutyRon, and you got the blue line through the badge.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. This is awesome. I'm going to keep it on my lap. Ed, again, it's clean. My floor is clean, I promise. But
I think this protests too much.
Yeah, so Jill and your community, Ed and I can't thank you enough.
Truly.
We're just so humbled by this whole thing and getting these wonderful gifts. And my postmaster, it's really small, believe it or not, a small little post office, and it's only open Monday to Friday. It's not open on the weekends. So I got a phone call from him, and he was like, "Hey, you got a big box here." So I told him, "You got to hold it because I work Monday through Friday and they close at 4. I don't get out of work till 5. So
that's the same.
So I said, "You got to hold it." So that's what delayed me picking it up. So apologies to you and your community for us not, getting this thing quickly. But look, here we are today. We're doing a whole show, and I'm so happy to have you here. Yeah. And we want everyone to go over, and mods, please put Jill's channel in here. Everyone go over, subscribe to her, tell her you came from Crime Time with DutyRon, and let her know that you saw these great blankets that she and her community put together for Ed, Wallace, and I, and the hats and the wind chime and all the stuff. I promised to gift out the memberships. We're over 200 thumbs ups. Thank you for that. Thank you for everyone hitting the thumbs up. And if you're not yet subscribed, consider subscribing to Crime Time with DutyRon. If my credit card goes through, let's do it. Here goes 10 memberships coming out to everybody, courtesy of DutyRon. There you go. It's in the chat. So let's see who gets it. This is exciting. I like this. I love to give back. Karen Solak got a membership. Congratulations. Sharing Sharon Creates got one. Denise Oles got one. Gerda from South Africa was gifted a membership.
Nice.
Laverne, she got one. Wow. Excellent. Rena Hutchinson was gifted a membership.
These are your regulars, you know.
Yeah, Charles. Arlene Wiley was gifted a membership. Thank you. DutyRon. Boom. We got it out there. I love to do this stuff. I love it. Love giving back. So there she is. She's in the chat, and now Renee says, "Thank you, DutyRon. I got a gifted membership." So yes, and there's Char saying thank you, and Laverne. Everyone's in chiming in.
Greta, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this is great. I love it. Let me highlight these quick.
Okay. Hey, Ron, can I tell our family what I did today?
Oh yeah. Okay. So let me set this up for Ed because this is we're going to circle back to Kylie Rodney. So Ed, again, we monitor and we look at the comments. We looked at the previous live stream. There was 20,000 people who watched it. I know that there's a big interest in Kylie Rodney and everything that in circles around her demise and what happened to her. We all want these answers, but Ed's got something to tell you guys. So go ahead, Ed. You got the floor, brother.
All right. So before I say this, and it seems yesterday when we had our show that the chat went wild. I mean, just crazy, unlike anything that I've seen before. But I'm not accusing anybody of lying or being misleading. Okay,
we aren't. We
aren't. All right. But I said, the issue that I had with the roadside assistance person was that he made a definitive statement that he felt the reason this CRV could not start was because it was in neutral, and that just didn't sound right to me. So yes, the other day I washed my car, and the owner had a 2013 CRV. With a push button start. And so I asked him if the owner of the car wash, if he would accommodate me and, just do this thing for me. And he didn't want to be videotaped. He didn't want his face shown or anything like that. Whether or not we can start the car in neutral and it does, it starts in neutral. But then people got hung up on, well, I mean, that's a push button start. And, they got hung up on how it started in neutral as opposed to, I was just trying to answer the question, can it start in neutral? Not the process of, okay, you have to put your foot on the brake, you have to turn the car into the on position, not start on, then engage the gear shift and put it down into neutral, and then hit the start button. So they said, it was going back and forth. So I found today I had to go back to Lowe's home improvement store to Home Depot to return some items from my honey-do list this weekend that I didn't use in grouting the shower. And in the parking lot was this elderly gentleman, a Korean War veteran, a very nice man, is sitting in his 2012 Honda CRV, all-wheel drive, with a key start. So I asked him, can you start your car in neutral? He goes, I don't think so. I said, would you mind trying? I mean, first of all, I introduced myself and I told him what this was all about.
This was an elderly gentleman?
Yes. Yeah. Korean War veteran. And so he accommodated me. I didn't videotape him because he didn't want to be videotaped, but he shut the car off because it was running because he was listening to the radio. Okay. So then he turned the key to the on position, stepped on the brake, and engaged the gear shift to neutral. Once it was neutral, he turned the key, and the key turned the car on, and the engine started running. So he goes, well, he goes, you just taught me something I didn't know. He says, my car can start in neutral.
That's great that you did that, because that's just like a double check right there. You got a 2013, you did it with the car wash, now a 2012. My neighbor's is a 2014, and it starts in neutral. I know that for a fact. I went over there. Did you make them put it in gear and shut it off and try to push the car, Ed?
Not this, guys. I did the car wash. Now, again, let me remind everybody what we did. I had him shut the car off when it was in drive. And we tried to push the car backwards with the car's engine being off and with the gear selector in drive. The car resisted being pushed backwards. Okay. All right. I just wanted to see if it would, because once we took our hands off, okay, the car rolled a little forward. But thank God we had somebody there to step on the brake inside the car. And then we tried it in reverse. We had turn the car on, put the car in reverse, shut the car off, and then we went behind the car and tried to push the car forward. The car resisted going forward.
Okay.
So that's what we did with the owner of the car wash's CRV.
There you go. Well, Ed, that's very thorough, and that's good. You know, that's good detective work. And I know that you're not going to let this thing go. Jill's trying to say something, but we couldn't hear it. Jill, what did you say?
That's science.
That's you go.
Science. That's right. It's a repeatable experiment that anybody should be able to go out and do and replicate what I've done.
Yes.
And
I just did an experiment watching the chat while you were explaining that. Somebody said they can't send a super sticker or any super chat. I just sent myself a $3 super chat, and it went through, a super sticker. So it works. So anybody that's trying to do it that can't do it, it's got to be something on your end with maybe your credit card. I always joke and say if my credit card goes through. So if you don't have a good source of payment, then it won't go through. Ed, thank you for doing that, because there were so many gosh darn questions. And you know what? No question is a bad one. But I want to say this. If you have something to say that you don't agree with us, or if you don't agree with something, say it the nice way. Don't say it nasty, and don't attack anybody else, because that's one thing that we don't tolerate here on Crime Time with DutyRon. There's no bullying, there's no nastiness, there's no harassment, there's no foul language. So if you are going to be in my comment section and start attacking my people or any people that come onto my comment section, you could bet your bottom dollar that either Ed or I or one of the moderators are going to either remove it and or block you. So that's just a reminder to, if you want to be able to go over and be in toxic communities where there's plenty of them out there, trust me on this. Trust me, you're not going to have it. It's not going to happen here. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not putting up with it. Did you hear
Okay.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
No, I didn't hear it.
It
didn't go.
You didn't hear it?
It's not going.
No.
Okay.
Oh, Josh screwed up my whole system.
For anybody who's ever seen an NYPD police show and looked at the side of our vehicles, our cruisers, you'll see three letters there, CPR. And that's what we practice here: courtesy, professionalism, and respect. Okay. And there's no reason that we can't have a respectful, courteous conversation and agree to disagree on things. There's no problem with that. Okay. That's what adults do. That's adult communication. Okay.
Yeah.
But no insults.
Yeah, and CPR, I have it highlighted on the screen. That stands for courtesy, professional, and respect. We not only are going to walk that walk and talk that talk, we expect everyone who's a part of this community to kind of, abide by that as well. Those are our rules. It's for ensuring safety for everyone that's here. We want you to be able to express your opinion, whether you agree with us or not, but you have to do it in a respectful and a decent way. There's going to be no mudslinging or nasty conversations. Those do not exist here. And if I do miss, or if our moderators miss them, point it out to us and we'll take care of it. So let me just say thank you to everyone who is in the live chat. Alicia B just sent in a $10 super chat. She says, super cost definitely works. She probably meant super chat. But thank you for that. Thank you. What did you want to say, Jill?
I was going to say, we don't really learn anything if we don't have two sides to things.
Right.
Correct.
But there's a respectful way to do that.
Yep. Hey, folks, I got to run. I got some work to do tonight again. And I want to thank Jill and all of her contributors to the blankets and the beanies. And it was beautiful. I appreciate you. Love you all. And love everybody in the audience tonight. And Ron, I love you too.
Thank you, Ed. Love you right back. And
right.
you're going to do Army training? Is that what I'm to understand?
No, Secret Squirrel training.
All right, Secret Squirrel. All right, Ed, thank you for being here. We love and respect you, and thank you for all your knowledge that you put into this and time. So it's a great thing for everybody. Peace,
Ciao.
Ed.
Ciao,
All right,
Paisan.
now it's just going to be me and you, Jill.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. There we go. All right. So Josh reworked my system. You know, he does all of my, all of my tech. And I had a desktop computer that I bought, a regular desktop, instead of using my laptop. And it was, a souped up version. We put it all together. It was working. And then I went to go do a live yesterday and it wasn't working. So last night I had to switch everything back, all the connections. But my oh hell no, and all of my stuff in my Stream Deck doesn't work right now. So I'm kind of upset about that, Jill. I know that
I know that thing is fun.
it is. It's so much fun.
Thought about getting one of those.
But now it doesn't work. For crying out loud! I heard it in my ear, but the audience said they didn't hear it.
I got Serbs here.
Oh, look at that! Who is this little young lad?
This is Cerberus.
How old is he?
He's 6.
Aw, look at him.
He's the channel mascot. He got to come with me.
I love it. I love it. Well, this is great, and I love all the stuff that you have in the background and all of your.
They're very big fans. My grandsons, everybody here is a huge fan. Of course, I'm in New Orleans, so Yeah. I'm not in New Orleans, but I'm close.
Right.
But
right.
They're fans of the Saints and LSU and all of that stuff. So that's why I wanted to make sure and make a hat for Ed. So he had the LSU with my.
He loves that. When I showed him that, I actually took that picture and sent it to him. He was like, "Oh man, she made that for me." I was like, "Yeah, she did." Ed was tickled pink over that. Gatorman in the chat says, "DutyRon, my thoughts were the FBI put the shifter in neutral after the window was busted out underwater." It could be. You could be. That could be correct, but we do not know. We do not know. Alicia B is chiming in and throwing salt on the wound. You will be lost without your buttons. Yeah, absolutely. Doodlebug is saying thank you to Ed Wallace, Mystery Maven. We love you, Jess. Thank you for being here always.
Thank you.
Pineapple Slushy, I love that screen name. She says, "Oh, what a beautiful dog." Yeah.
He's a sweetheart.
And now my bird, my 35-year-old African gray, which is right to the right of me here, he is getting pissed because he hears me talking about your dog, and now he's starting to make noise over there. So he might start cussing in a little bit. I'll have to bleep him out. It'll be like one of these. Oh boy.
Oh, that worked.
That worked. Yeah, that's for sure. But that doesn't work. My oh hell no button, and I'm really pissed about that because that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
First call after we get off of here is going to be to Josh to try to see if he can fix that. But yeah, listen, so I want to say thank you to all of the replay viewers, all of the live chatters, all the people who gave super chat, including myself, and to all of the new members. Congratulations. 300 people sitting and watching us. We talked about Gonzalo Lopez. That was the topic here today. I hope you guys enjoyed the update. Really it was a lack of an update, but we wanted to highlight it. We needed to highlight it. So Carly, Justice for Abby and Libby, and Summer Wells sends in a $10 super chat. She says, "Just now tested my Jeep Cherokee in neutral and it cranked right up. Hearts. Please let Ed know. I said thank you for doing the experiment for us. Love your channel so much." Carly, we appreciate you and thank you for everything that you stand for. I mean, Carly is look at her screen there. She's got pictures of some of these folks who are looking for, we're looking for justice. Summer Wells, Libby and Abby and Libby. I mean, we appreciate you. We appreciate all the true crime buffs that are out there. You guys are amazing. Lieutenant Pete Pranzo is here, and Richella. So many great friends. Jill, do you have anything that you want to say to the ladies or anybody that was involved in this project with you publicly here?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you to you and Ed, and that's why we did that, is to say thank you to you for your service, for all that you do. That was the reason that we did that. So I just wanted to make sure, and I am so thankful to everyone who participated and sent in support. And there's people that added money for shipping. There's people that sent me extra yarn and all those things. I just want to. It really, you start seeing those coming in, it's like, oh, okay. And then they just start coming in. It's like, oh my gosh. At one time, the post office says, I may have to send these back if you don't come. get them. Because there was a whole bunch. I didn't even know there were so many.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was amazing. It's an amazing experience. It
It's
really
so great to see everybody come together from different communities, and you don't get that a lot on YouTube. You know, I try to support as many people as humanly possible, and it's sometimes difficult for me because I slice myself really thin because I have a full-time job.
Yeah.
You know, I got my family. I got it's like a really hard balance, and I have to
Mhm.
put my family first, obviously. So,
And you
and the time that I give here to you guys, I don't know how I do it, but I manage to do it. So sometimes and again, I say this to you because I'd always like to be there when you go live and like to be there for everybody, but I just can't do it. It's just I have to draw the line. Yeah. I have to draw the line somewhere, but I do try to make my rounds, and that's what's great about it. Listen, Red, White, and Bethune, I love them.
Mhm.
Kyle and Jen, they do such great stuff. We try to get in.
missing, right?
Yeah, they do a lot of their missing persons posters at the
Yeah.
end, and what they did for Gabby Petito's family is just you can't put a price tag on what they did there, and they didn't even do it knowingly. They just did it because they had their GoPro on their dashboard of the car of the van. So
Yeah.
actually the bus. So
They were, they were concerned. What in the world's going on? And
yeah. So they did the right thing, and these are good human beings. So I try to get around, and it's been weeks since I've gotten over there, and then I happened to stumble across one of their live streams, and they're doing a fundraiser for domestic violence for the Gabby Petito Foundation. So we went over there, and we participated and donated, and then I fired up the live stream to help them with their the initiative that they're trying to do. So my live stream is still there. It's 20 minutes long. It's for domestic violence, and anybody can go over there and donate, just like I did with EquiSearch, to the Gabby Petito Foundation.
oh, that was still running,
Yeah, it's still
Okay.
running. It's going to go till October 19th over on Red, White, and Bethune. So definitely get over there and
One of the reasons I got involved with your channel is because that's a thing that's very near and dear to my heart, is the domestic violence stuff. So,
yeah.
That's what drew me in was,
Aw. Yeah, and domestic violence affects everybody in some way, shape, or form. If it's not indirect, if it's not direct, it's indirect. So, there's not many people who are not affected by domestic violence. Jamie, thank you for that super sticker. I appreciate that $20. Thank you. Alicia is in the chat. Alicia B. Well, she's one of your biggest fans. One of my great supporters and moderators. I can't say enough good about her.
friends.
Yeah, so there you go. You guys are best friends. I don't ever want to get on the wrong side of you guys. I'll get no more of these blankets. I'm holding on to this. It's not even winter yet. I love it. Doodlebug Glory sends in a $5 super sticker. Thank you for that, Doodlebug Glory. I love that screen name. So I think that's about it. I wanted to just do this with you, and I'm so glad that we.
I appreciate it. And again, it was just a great experience. Yes. Let me see if I can always get this wrong.
It's tough to do it. That's it. You got it. I do the condensed version of it. Sherilyn Schaffner is here. She says Alicia B is awesome. I agree wholeheartedly. So yes, guys, thank you so much for joining Jill and I and Ed Wallace for an update on Gonzalo Lopez. We're going to continue to follow this story. We're going to have
We'll find out something soon. It'd be nice if they at least fix things. So
we're going to get the Tieperman family to come on with us, and they are going to tell us in their own words about what's going on in Leon County and what has happened or what has not happened. So I don't feel that these politicians and TDCJ officials should be able to get away with the blood of the Collins family is on their hands. 5 murdered innocent people. It's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. Yeah. So, all right, guys, on behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Jill from the Floozie crime community, guys, you're welcome. Go over there and subscribe to her community. I will link it in the description of this video. So if you are watching a replay and you're like, oh, how do I go and subscribe to Jill? It's going to be linked down below in the description.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. All right, guys, as I like to always end these things, God bless the world. God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us here in the chat, but especially all of the victims and their families across the globe. They need us now more than ever. Let's give them strength, prayers, and positive vibes. On behalf of Jill and Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, we'll talk to you on the next one. Peace. Thanks, Jill.
Thank you.
Bye.